We're joined now by one of the greatest basketball players of all time and the president of basketball operations for the Lakers, Magic Johnson. Welcome to Undisputed.
Joe, I've been waiting to be on the show. You know, Skip.
We've been waiting
for
you.
Shannon, you know.
I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. In all my years of covering sports, the man I have gained the most respect for as a player, as an executive, as a businessman, as a leader, and just as a man, is this man, Earvin Magic Johnson, and we appreciate you.
I appreciate you, and you know, I couldn't wait, Shannon. I was like, okay, let me come on right before the basketball season.
Well, thanks for coming on, Magic. You're the only guy that made it look fun. Everybody else like, oh man, but you were smiling the whole way through, winning championships, win, lose, or draw. You had that smile. You were perfect for LA.
Thank you. Thank you. You know, and I think it's almost like Lonzo Ball is perfect for LA and the Lakers and what we're trying to build. And so it's just great. And please, you know, this has been so much fun. And I know Nicole Murphy, too.
I made the money. That's all I need.
You know, I've been watching the show.
Well, I'm in the money now. I ain't gonna say that.
You good now.
Well, you are perfectly endeared now. There you go.
I got you.
He's got one for you.
I got you. You don't have to worry about it.
We're very happy to have you here. And your Lakers open the season on Thursday against the Clippers. How much of a shot do you give your Lakers of making the playoffs this year?
Well, I think, you know, everything has to go right for us, right? And everybody has to have their best season.
Okay.
And I think that we have the talent, but the West is difficult. It's tough, you know. I think that Brook Lopez has to play like he's been playing, who I really love. He can spread the court for us. Lonzo has to, you know, have an awesome rookie season. I'm not talking about scoring-wise, just making sure he gets everybody involved. And then guys like Brandon Ingram has to have a career year. KCP has to have a career year. So we're asking a lot of the guys to step up to make the playoff. But if we don't, that's not to say we didn't have a good season. And so I'm judging it by, did everybody get better?
Right.
And did we compete on a nightly basis? That's really important for us. If we do that, I'm going to be very happy.
So I became a big believer in Lonzo Ball when he was at UCLA and head of the draft. Now you've seen him just for this preseason, but I know how sold you are on his long-term future. So give us some idea of ultimately how close he can come to having Magic Johnson impact on the Lakers.
I think, Skip, that he's right on track. And I tell you what, I was really blown away. He's got the teammates right here because he's a good dude off the court.
Okay.
See that was really important. Shannon, you know I was watching that, right?
Yes.
Okay, what's the locker room going to be like? Can he bring the guys into him? He's done a marvelous job. Skip, you would like this guy, right? Doesn't think much of himself. He clowns around.
Right.
He's in there rapping. He's dancing in practice. I said, okay, we picked the right guy. And we have to remember something. He was the most efficient college basketball player last season. He's had one of the best seasons in terms of being efficient in the last, I think it was 7, 8 years. Even the high draft picks before him didn't have a better college season than him. I'm talking about being efficient. So we're right on track. He's right on track. Now what we need him to do is just stay healthy, you know, because he got hurt in Summer League with an ankle. He got hurt again, exhibition with an ankle. So we need him to stay healthy, because he's going to make the engine go. He's going to make the team go.
How gifted a passer do you see him being since you were as gifted as there ever was?
On the same level with myself, Jason Kidd. He can see it before it even happens. Man, and he throws you that pass that you can just catch it and shoot it. You know, a lot of times it's not high. Sometimes it's low on guys. They throw it side to the side. He throws it right in your wheelhouse where you can just catch it and shoot it. And he can create a shot for a guy. See, that's different from a lot of guys in the league today.
Okay.
Only probably LeBron, it's only a few guys that can create a shot for somebody. He knows how to do that. He has that skill set.
And how much have you been on him to occasionally create his own shot?
Yes, well, I think that's coming, you know. That's a great point because now he has to read the situation, and that's going to take games. You know, it's going to take real games for him to read, okay, right now I need to take over the game for the next 2 or 3 minutes. Or so-and-so, the last 3 guys are not hot. Lopez is not hot. KCP is not hot. Brandon. So it's time for me to get my offense going. It takes game. It takes games for him to get that experience of doing that. So I think he will.
Magic as a great player, and we were talking, you and Skip, we were talking about off air, how you watch all the practices. As a great player, how hard is it for you to critique other players and think, well, you should be doing this, or I would have done that? Is it hard for you to critique players as a great player and not be too harsh and realize everybody can't be a Magic Johnson?
Great point. Shannon, that's hard. Because you'll see 5 or 10 times I'm sitting there, he's open. And they keep saying, he's not you. They can't see that, Irvin. I said, oh, okay. So it is difficult to make sure that you don't put that type of pressure on somebody or think he's you.
Right.
What I have to do is sit back and say, okay, through this lens, I have to say, okay, I have to talk to that player after practice and say, hey, maybe you should have thought about this or thought about that.
Right.
And then let them say, man, you were right.
Right.
You know, so not get on them as much as give them some advice.
Right.
Brandon Ingram, when I took over last season, the last 2 months, he used to shy away from contact. He would go to the basket, but once the big man came over, he floated away from him.
Right.
So I grabbed him and said, man, look, you want to get a foul and an and one, go right at him and jump into his chest.
Right.
So now we're seeing him do that.
Right.
And then he's looking at me like, okay, I see what you're talking about now. So I make different points, but I sit back, let Coach Walton coach the team because that's his job. I don't want to get into the X's and O's and things like that.
Right.
What I want to do is just say, hey, player X, maybe you should think about this, or watch how he's going to play you tonight. Because I do know the league very, very well.
Right.
Like Patrick Beverly is getting ready to play Lonzo.
Right.
He's going to be physical with him.
Right.
And he's going to be talking a lot of trash. So he has to be ready for that.
Right.
Obviously, Lonzo's father, LaVar, has become a star unto himself.
Yep.
You've been around him. You've gotten to know him. He's going to be very interested in his son's life. Have you suggested any ground rules that this is sort of how we're going to play this game?
Skip, no. I've had great conversations with him, though. I like him.
I do too. We like
He's
him.
easy to like it.
Yeah. And you know what? He makes a lot of sense, too. People don't give him credit for that.
Right.
But he loves his boys. He loves basketball. Give him credit for it. Listen, in today's world, it's hard to raise 3 boys, right? Then guide them, okay? Guide their careers. And he's having fun with saying, hey, now people recognize me too. It's not just my boys.
Right.
I got some stardom too. So what I like about him, he hasn't come to one practice. He hasn't said anything. He said, Irvin, I'm going to hand you, Lonzo, my son, to you, and I'm getting out the way. And he's done just that. So we have a great relationship, and I know what he's doing. He's building a brand. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Kardashian's mom, the mother built a $1 billion. And so, you know, he's just saying, hey, I want to look out for my boys. And he's done a tremendous job.
You mentioned about the guys liking Lonzo in the locker room, and you mentioned leadership. And when you traded D'Angelo, you said you wanted a leader. Why are you so convinced that Lonzo is that leader that you need?
Well, I think that any winning and championship team has a leader on the court and in the locker room.
Okay.
And we didn't have one. So if I'm trying to get this team toward the playoffs and then the next step toward a championship, we got to have leaders. I've always played on a team with myself, Kareem, James Worthy. We were the leaders. Coop. So you can have multiple leaders. Look at Golden State. They got multiple leaders, but the one guy they really look to is Draymond Green.
Correct.
See, and the same thing, LeBron leads Cleveland. So we needed a leader. And this young man can lead. Now he's a different leader because he's a quiet leader. So he does it by example.
Right.
He doesn't have your emotional charisma.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And but you know what? He gets mad. Oh yeah. And he loves to compete. So he's like that quiet leader. He reminds me of Kareem. Kareem just said, I don't have to do no talking, but if you mess with me, you know, I'm gonna let you know.
Right.
But I'm gonna dominate with my hook and with my play. And Lonzo is just like that.
And
Magic-
one
Go ahead.
other thing about Lonzo's shot you brought up. Have you worked with his shot? Have you left it alone? Because obviously at some point, and he made a bunch of three-point shots for UCLA. It kind of comes and goes. Have you suggested it? Have you tinkered with the mechanics of it?
No, let's see what happens.
Okay.
You know, I think that it'd be wrong for me or anybody else. He's been shooting this shot for his whole life. Right? So let's give him a season in the NBA and let's see what happens. Both, not just his outside shot, but his free throws as well. So I'm gonna monitor both, but let him have the season, see what happens.
No discussion yet.
No discussion. You know, Skip, you don't want to throw too much. You know how it is. You come in, you got all this hype coming. Everybody's after him. Everybody wants something. So I said, I'm gonna just sit back. And I told him, I pulled him aside. I said, look, man, I want you to know that my office is open. It don't even have to be about basketball.
Right.
Because I know you're going to need to get away. I had Jerry West, Bill Sharman, to just go in the office, just talk. Forget basketball, just to talk. I was 20 years old when I got off the boat from Michigan, right? So I needed somebody. And he's going to need somebody too.
He's got the greatest teacher he could ever have in his hometown. Like it's beautiful.
Yeah. And with that comes pressure and expectation.
Right.
And so I just want him to be able to come in, kick your feet up, man. We can talk about life, whatever. Anything you want to talk about, we can do that.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few segments from the newest show on FS1, First Things First, with Chris Carter and Nick Wright.